Yes, my Between the Liners, welcome back to the Between the Lines podcast. Manchester United have just beaten Crystal Palace 2-1 at home with 10 men. Woo, that got a bit nervy at the end, I'm not going to lie. But quickly, can I just mention, Liverpool also lost today 3-0 to Wolves. Arsenal also lost today 1-0 to Sean Dyche's Everton. What a weekend. I was feeling ill before this. I'm not even feeling ill anymore. Let's take it into today's game. Obviously, on the back of knocking out Nottingham Forest in the League Cup, on our way to a final, on our way to Wembley. By the way, Man United aren't offering me a ticket, even though I've been to every single game in the League Cup. I'm about to send a seriously rude email or letter to Old Trafford. Coming soon. Anyway, back to today's game. Back to the Premier League. Crystal Palace, obviously we played them recently. They got a last minute equaliser with a free kick. Today's game, obviously I know a lot of United fans might not be too happy with that performance, but think about it. We were down to 10 men. We had our backs to the wall. The boys have come out and shown amazing resilience. You got to be proud of that performance because obviously this ain't last year, but last year we probably would have drawn that game or even lost that game. We've shown a great resilience to keep the game at 2-1 and win the game at 2-1. So let's take it into the starting lineup. In hindsight, it will be easy to say that maybe Ten Hag should have rested Fred and maybe bedded in Sabitzer early on. But I think he made the right decision. Fred's been on good form anyway. And to be honest, other than that, maybe he could have put in Sancho. But it was unlikely. Obviously, we're still trying to bed in Sancho. We're trying to bed in Sabitzer. And the only disappointing thing was to find out that Martial wasn't in the squad again. And I've been one of his biggest critics in recent years because I don't feel like, one, he's not available enough. And two, when he is available, he hasn't really performed that greatly to what he's capable of. Obviously, this season, when he has played, he has performed pretty decently. But overall, in his United career, he's just always stuttering. There's just always something wrong with him. And again, today, he's not available. Big question marks around Martial. You lot let me know in the comments. Is it time for him to go? Do we stick with him as a squad option? I don't know. I'm pretty fed up, to be honest. Let's take it into the positives because we have won the game. It's 2-1. Goals from Marcus Rashford again. Goals from Bruno Fernandes again. I think he's got 7 goals and assists now in his last 8 games, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously we were worried at the beginning of the season that although he had some more mature performances, some more efficient performances, he's now adding back the goals and assists again. So I'm delighted for him. A great penalty. The penalty I thought might have been a bit harsh. What do you guys think? I don't know. Rashford did hit it and he did hit the guy's arm and his arm was up, but it was pretty short distance and Rashford had got a lot of power in it as well. Throughout the first half, to be honest, it was a game of 2 halves, so most of my positives are probably from the first half. I thought the first half, especially from the beginning of the match, which I've asked for in previous reactions, I wanted us to be on the front foot from the beginning, and we did that, especially in that first half. Completely dominant, so dominant. We made Crystal Palace look like a less than average Premier League side, to be honest. Absolutely played them off the park. I thought our work rate and intensity was amazing. Anthony, Weghorst, Casemiro was setting the tone for the intensity and the pressing. I thought that was great. Also, to be honest, I think there's one thing that Palace were attacking, and that was down our left-hand side. I don't know if that's where they're strongest or if that's where they thought that we was going to have a weakness. And we dealt with it pretty comfortably, to be honest, throughout most of the game down the left-hand side especially. I think Casemiro was really gliding around the pitch. I thought Bruno had a really mature performance again, showing further signs of his development under Ten Hag and showing further signs that he's capable of being a more complete midfielder rather than forcing it all the time. I thought Fred did pretty decent as well. Obviously, there's a big difference between Fred and Eriksen. You probably see us creating a lot less chances, probably don't hold possession of the ball as well as when Eriksen's playing. But obviously Fred has his limitations, but he also has his positives. And I think he utilised his positives to the best of his ability today. Let's talk about the second goal, by the way. And this stems from Garnacho. every time this guy comes on the pitch, or if he starts on the pitch, his positivity is just like amazing. And it breathes life into the rest of the team. And that second goal where Rashford scored all stems from Garnacho. If you look at him, he picks up the ball, he dribbles with it a bit, he passes it, he keeps moving, he receives it again, he keeps moving it again. And then I can't remember who crosses it into Rashford to get the goal. Someone got an assist, maybe Shaw. And then Rashford's finish. But yeah, back to Garnacho quickly. He's always on the move, always positive, always direct. Such a massive future for the boy, and he's only 19. Incredible, genuinely, like so incredible. I can't wait to see what Garnacho does in the future, and it will take it on to the star man of the moment, the star man possibly in world football right now. Dr. Marcus Rashford, MBE, gets his name on the score sheet again. And look, some people might say it was an easy goal, but previously, you'd expect Rashford to probably hit that straight down the middle, and the keeper probably saves that. The form he's on right now, the mentality he's got right now, the confidence and the wiseness and the smartness of the guy opens up his body, composes himself, tries to get into the corner. It probably wasn't that far into the corner, but he's got it low enough, got enough power on there, and he slotted it past Guaita in goal. And this is similar to the Man City goal as well. These are like a new type of finishing that we haven't really seen from Rashford. You see like the Arsenal goal where he knuckleballs it in. But this is like a new armour added to his repertoire. And I'm so proud of Marcus Rashford constantly improving himself and showing this guy is a well-rounded talent. He's not just a tricky winger, or he's not just someone that just blasts it into the net. He's becoming a more and more sure-fired forward. I wouldn't like to say striker, but a more and more sure forward. So keep it up, Marcus Rashford. I'm so proud. And obviously, before I get into the negatives, because obviously got a bit negative, but in the end, I want to shout out Lisandro Martinez. I thought by far he was our best defender on the pitch today. Varane was not really that critical today, I didn't think. But I thought Martinez and Shaw were great in defence. Martinez really stood out, especially in like the last half an hour, clearing, decisive tackles, interceptions, all over the show. And he just breathes life into the defence, breathes life into the team and the Old Trafford crowd, who I thought were great today as well. Shout out Martinez, what a player. Glad to have him in there. Let's take it into the negatives because, like I said earlier, it was a game of two halves. And then the second half really didn't start off that great. I thought we came out really complacent. The team looked flat. And just speaking about the first half quickly as well, the negatives, because it was pretty positive the first half. The negatives would be, we didn't really create any clear-cut chances, and that's why we couldn't punish Palace and we couldn't put them away, which is a bit of concern because it would have given us memories of the game away at Selhurst Park where we conceded in the last minute, because that could have happened today very easily. But I've said to a lot of the guys in my WhatsApp group chats, Ten Hag does not make the same mistake twice, and that's why we won that game today. Mostly because of Ten Hag especially. But yeah, we didn't create enough chances. I thought Weghorst didn't really get any great chances. I thought Anthony probably could have been a bit more creative. Some of his crosses had a bit too much power. But I noticed there's one thing about Anthony quickly as well. He was taking on his man a lot more. He's taking on Tyreek Mitchell a lot more. And I think that's something that's been instilled into his head. He is trying to take on his fullback because obviously there's been a lot of criticism coming his way from United fans and other fans. But back to the negative, I think that United need to wake up in second halves because, or even if you're 1-0 up, forget time, forget a second half. If you're 1-0 up in the game, you cannot come out in the second half and be complacent. You should expect, because of the way that we made Palace look in the first half, and obviously Palace just didn't really try that much, I thought, because of that, and everything around the game, and also because of the game away, you should expect that Palace are going to come at you in that second half, like firing. And that's what they did. And we allowed them to do that. We keep making these games too scrappy sometimes, especially when we're a goal or two goals up. We make it so scrappy. And we were careless in possession. Maybe this is where like Christian Eriksen becomes crucial because you probably have a lot more control of the game. But even when Eriksen's been playing in recent times, the rest of the team does seem to get a lot more complacent, especially either in second halves or especially when we're a goal or two up. And it's just not sitting right with me. Like, obviously today we could have been punished. And then the red card happened. Firstly, Schlopp's such an idiot for even pushing Anthony into the sideboards. He obviously got jealous or angry because Anthony tried doing the rainbow flick, which was pretty outrageous, to be honest. It was pretty rude. If I'm playing against Anthony and Anthony's trying to do a rainbow flick, I'm not going to lie, I am clattering Anthony. So I understood why Schlupp did it, but it was just unnecessary in a professional game. No respect for his fellow professionals. You could argue maybe the same for Anthony, I don't know. And then the red card. Look, I love the fact that Casemiro went and backed Anthony. That's what Madrid fans are crying out now for Vinicius Jr. for protection because his teammates don't protect him. So I love Casemiro for sticking up for his teammates, sticking up for his Brazilian compatriot. But at this level, and for the experience that Casemiro has come with, he should know better than to put his arms around someone's neck. And like, obviously, I get it. You're sticking up for your boy. You're sticking up for your teammate. I get it. I love it. But at the same time, it shouldn't be two hands around someone's neck, especially with all these cameras, especially with VAR. It just doesn't really make sense. He should probably know better, if we're being honest. As much as United fans, as much as we love Casemiro, he should know better. Let's be real. Because now he's banned for 3 games. He's going to miss 2 games against Leeds. He's going to miss a game against Leicester, I believe. And let's be real, we need him. Who's our next centre defensive midfielder at the club right now? McTominay's not a DM. Sabitza's not really an out-and-out DM. Fred's not a DM. Eriksen's not a DM, and he's away anyway. He's injured. Who's left? Mainu, I don't think is a DM. He's more of a CM or a box-to-box. So now Casemiro has left us wanting because we haven't got a CDM to cover him now. So a bit of concern about that. But yeah, I just think he should know a bit better. A man of his stature, a man of his experience should know better. I think after that, we were a bit lucky or made our own luck, you could say, because once we went 2-0 up, fine, then we get the red card, then we concede a goal. The main cause of conceding that goal is because there was 2 corners that came in and there was no one taking authority and heading out the ball from the corner. It was almost like we were afraid to go and attack the ball and we're allowing Palace to put pressure on us. And there's one thing we do in other games as well. We keep allowing crosses to come in. And I said Shaw had a good game defensively today. So I don't really want to blame him too much. But there were some times that he was letting a lot of crosses come into the box. And he's done that in a few recent games as well. Something he needs to work on and something the team needs to work on as a whole. We keep allowing teams to get the cross in. Stop the supply, you stop the goal. Simple as. And the goal that they scored, no one's taking authority to get the ball out of the box. Usually you see Varane coming out and heading that out. I didn't really see him being able to do that. I think it was Mateta holding him back. Could argue it was a foul potentially. But yeah, there was no leadership in that box in the last 10-15 minutes really. Until like the last 7 minutes of stoppage time where Lisandro Martinez just took everything into his own hands and dealt with everything that came our way. Before that, the last 10-15 minutes before that, from like the 75th to 90th minute, there wasn't enough authority and enough leadership in that box, I felt like. Yeah, and you could say that I'm asking for too much because obviously I've praised him at the beginning of the game for resilience, but just need to be a bit more dominating, a bit more forceful in the game. And Schlopp's got the goal. I don't think De Gea could have done nothing about that, to be honest. The first header before that second corner, he saved. Maybe it was a bit down the middle, but it was a powerful header and he's got a good hand to it. He's put it out for a corner. He's got it out of the danger zone. The second goal, I don't think was De Gea's fault because it's come to Schlupp quite quick and it's a good finish, to be fair. Like, I don't really see how De Gea could save that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments if you think or who's at fault for the second goal at least. For Crystal Palace's first goal. I'd need to watch it back to clearly be able to blame someone. But look, we've come away. It's a resilient 2-1 win. We've ended the game with 2-1. This game, match roundup. Let's take it into a match roundup. Firstly, I'd have to say man of the match. I was leaning towards Bruno, but the way that game ended, I'll probably have to give it to Lisandro Martinez. He was probably the most consistent player we had in that game. But I thought Bruno is slowly and steadily improving himself week in, week out now. And I'm delighted. I love Bruno. I'm a massive Bruno fan, so keep it going, Captain Fantastic. But yeah, man of the match for this game, I'd like to think it was Lisandro Martinez. Match roundup. We've come away with a 2-1 win. We've gone down to 10 men and we've still won the game 2-1. And Palace are a decent side. They put us under a lot of pressure in that second half or in the last 15, 20 minutes. And our game management in the last 7-10 minutes of stoppage time also was a lot better than in previous games. We kept trying to work it down the line, kept trying to play it in the corners. I was impressed with that. So good game management, good resilience from the boys. I'm slightly impressed. Although I'm not majorly impressed, I'm slightly impressed with the resilience especially. And obviously we've come out with 3 crucial points in our charge for top 4. Dare I say it, the title. Arsenal lost again. Arsenal lost even to Everton. So maybe their downfall. Maybe Man City might lose to Spurs tomorrow and then who knows what can happen? You never know in the Premier League. Anyway, looking ahead, we've now got Leeds next at home on Wednesday, Leeds away next Saturday, and I think we've got Leicester the week after or maybe midweek, and then obviously the Barcelona game coming up sharpish. Casemiro is going to miss 3 straight games. Bit concerned about who's going to be playing in CDM role. Is it going to be Sabitzer? Is it going to be Fred? I'm not even sure. But I have big faith in Ten Hag. Leicester and Leeds, let's be realistic. We should be beating them regardless of the form that they're in. I think they're both in pretty bad form anyway. I think they're both pretty low down the table. So I'm pretty confident. I'm confident that the boys, especially Ten Hag, can deliver results, deliver 9 points out of 9 against these 2 teams in the next 3 games. Let's keep it moving. It's a busy February, a League Cup final to look out for, 2 games against Barcelona to look out for. I'm also going to Valencia soon, so you're going to see a match vlog on the Valencia game, the Atletico Bilbao. Watch out for that. Watch out for the vlogs against Barcelona as well. And watch out for the vlog, hopefully, for Newcastle v Man United in the League Cup final. I'm going to try everything I can do to make that game. If you can get me tickets, let me know. Listen, this is the Between the Lines podcast. Let me know what you thought on today's game. Let me know who you thought was a man in the match or any other positives or negative comments. This is the Between the Lines podcast. I'm your host, Adnan. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Peace out.